Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sippin and Selling
with Joey Chanel. Welcome back to another episode of Sippin and Selling. Today I have Chris Chelios and Bob Morris from El Bandido Tequila, El Bandido Yankee Tequila. And we're going to talk about that name because it has been ringing a few bells with some people. They find it to be a really fun topic of discussion. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks, Joey.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
having us. Thank you.
I appreciate you being here. I was talking with you guys a little bit before. I work with the team at El Bandido Yankee Tequila. I am doing their national sales for off-premise retail. And I've never met the gentlemen that are going to be on the Zoom today. So it's very nice to get to know you guys.
Yeah.
So let's start what I was talking about, this name, right? It's polarizing. Some people have a little bit to say about it. I personally love it. It's really fun and kitschy as far as I'm concerned. Talk about this name.
Well, I'll take the blame or or
it's his fault.
The people who like it. But yeah, just late night, came up with this idea to start a brand, and Bob asked me, and didn't take me more than, 10, 15 seconds to reply with El Bandido Tequila. And basically it was from that movie, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, when the Bolivian police were yelling about the Bandidos, meaning Robert Redford and Paul Newman, and kind of liked it. And then Bob drew up all the artwork with the Bandido that kind of pops on the bottle, and it's been great.
That's amazing. Super fun. I love that movie. That's a classic. So, it makes sense for a product that you want to stand the test of time, right, guys? So I think that's a fun name. I personally love it. The logo is great too.
The backstory was it was 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, okay. Well, that little nugget we left out.
Yeah. We've been drinking pretty much all day. It was December 19th of 2019, and we were drinking some other stuff, and I told Chris I didn't like it, and he goes, and we end up basically saying, well, he goes, well, maybe we ought to start our own. And so this is the rest of the story is how he outlined it, is that for sure. And, he goes, you ever see the movie Butch Cassidy's Sundance Kid? I go, I've seen it 1,000,000 times. He goes, there's a line in there where they rob the bank down in Bolivia, and they come out and they go, El Bandido Yankees. And they're trying to shoot him and everything. And I sit there and I looked at him. I go, yeah, I like it. I can work with that. Let's do it.
Very funny and super memorable. And, for those of us in the industry that sell it or know it or distribute it, can also abbreviate, which we love abbreviations in this liquor business, and call it EBY. Yeah. So El Bandido Yankee, that is what we're talking about today, guys. Everybody knows tequila is my favorite drink of choice outside of water. And I wanted to bring the team from El Bandido onto Sippin and Selling to talk about their story, but they are legends. They are athletes. Prior to being in this business, we have the NHL and the NFL. So I think that's another place that we have to talk about, guys, for my audience and my viewers who are freaking out right now because they know who you are and they are so intrigued about this relationship, partnership, friendship. So how did you guys meet?
Well,
drinking.
Yeah, drinking. Yeah, and you know how some of your best decisions are made after bar time, and that's where it went. But I had a golf tournament.
Okay.
I have an annual golf tournament, and Bob was one of the guests of one of the sponsors, and we hadn't really talked during the day of the tournament. But then, as we took everybody back downtown in the shuttle. Bob was one of the 10, 12 people, and that's when we just sat down, started discussing things. And then when we were drinking that tequila, as he's mentioned, it just wasn't good, and we came up with the cleanest additive-free tequila. And to just keep it short, when we were doing the sampling, 8 or 9 guys chose the same tequila in a blind contest, or blind tasting. So we knew this was the one. And that started with the Blancos. So it all came together pretty quickly. And Bob did all the legwork and the trips and research. And it's been a great experience for the past 4 years.
Amazing. So we started with a Blanco, which most people do, right? And we're touching on this additive free portion that we talked about. But for the listeners on there that are not aware, most tequilas, there's about, I don't know, guys, maybe like 3,000, 4,000 SKUs these
Yeah.
days. Out of those brands, I think it's only a couple hundred that are additive free. And
I
that's,
think only noted is 87.
oh, we'll see,
Yeah.
even less.
Yeah, we're one of the 87th for sure.
It's amazing. And so that just means that there's no additives, guys, for those of you that are uneducated in this space. Doesn't have any glycerin or flavoring, vanilla, that sort of thing, which a lot of the tequilas that people have those horrible hangover stories about, that's why. It's not because of the spirit itself, it's because of what they're adding into it. And did you guys learn about that when you were going and finding a distillery? Is that where you started after the name was like, we have to do something that's not just a new, fun, exciting category as far as athlete merging with spirit? Were you guys like, okay, well, let's see where we can fill a void? Or was it that you found your distillery and your partnership of who was going to make your product and they were explaining that it should be additive free? What's that story?
No, I've got a food science background. We had an ingredients company, and when I was buying about 50, $60 million of agave when Chris and I came up with the idea to do our own tequila. And I was misled thinking I knew everything about agave, which I didn't. And when we started this, we got a whole new education. But Chris and I both wanted to do something authentic. We wanted to have an authentic tequila, take it back to the 1600s, the way they first did it when the conquistadors came to Mexico and taught the Mexican nationalists, how to distill. They didn't like the conquistadors didn't like the mezcal, and so they showed them, hey, here's how you can distill. And they distilled the agave, and it created obviously a much different drink than mezcal was. And so that started about 1660, and we stayed traditionally. Chris and I wanted to stay, authentic and traditional to taking it back, the 1600s, the way it was done when it first was invented.
Love that. So you guys went down and you went to Jalisco and you found your partners. And if I'm correct in remembering the story, one of the owners is female. Is that correct?
The master distiller is that's like having a female head coach in the NHL or the NFL.
It's amazing.
She's, it's a very, it's a macho industry. And it was, we were blessed to have, when we went to El Vieto and we got Karina Rojo as our master distiller, and she's fantastic. And, and Chris talks about when we had the sampling. Well, we had more than one sampling. We came back and we did it about 3 or 4 times, and I kept accusing those guys. I go, man, this is just an excuse for another party. But
Sounds about right.
Karina was great to work with. I mean, she didn't speak any English. I was down there. I didn't speak any Spanish, so we got along fantastic. And basically, we described what we wanted. I would take the notes that Chris and me and the rest of the guys we put together. We'd go after the first time we sampled. We brought in some more, and then I think we did those samplings 3 times, didn't we, Chris?
Yeah, yeah, that hotel where you stay all the time. But again, amazing that the last sampling we did, that all 8 or 9 guys at the table, chose the same exact sample, and it was evident. We always talked about clean, being athletes. Obviously, for me, lasting like I did, just taking care of yourself, and when done in moderation, including drinking, there's no harm. But why not, have something that's additive free? And you can't let them fool you when they advertise as 100% pure agave, because like 3% of it's 100% pure. Then the rest of it's all that stuff that, the additives, that, the vanillas, the glycerin, all that stuff, which gives you those hangovers. And that's not fun, not at our age anyway.
No, not at any age. It's a pain in the butt. And yes, as we get older, you care about what goes in your body and you care about the ingredient labels, or most of us try to. And The product's amazing. Like I said, tequila is my favorite thing to drink. I'm so proud to be a part of the team and to sell the product. And I also love that you guys have this friendship and you trust each other and you guys are, bringing this route to market strategy in a different way. And I feel like people followed your suit. So if I remember correctly, you guys started, doing your tastings and your activations and all of that in the bike community with like Sturgis and all of that. Is that because you guys like to ride Harleys or something? How did that happen?
Well, we ride for sure. I mean, still rides in downtown Chicago. I mean, I'm not doing that. I'm riding out in Sturgis. I mean, downtown
Yeah.
Chicago. I'm too old for that. But yeah, we both are bike riders, and the biking community's been great. But we launched in Chicago. Chris had a great relationship with Rocky Wirtz
Okay.
and a great relationship with the Wirtz family. And the Wirtz owned the Blackhawks, and Chris was, a Hall of Fame player, and his jersey's retired there with the Blackhawks, and so that relationship, they own, Breakthrough distribution as well, and so we knew that Breakthrough was going to bring us out, and they've done a great job with us in the states that we're with them and so forth, and a lot of thanks to them on helping us launch. But it was Chris's relationship with Rocky that really was instrumental in us going with Breakthrough originally out of the Chicago area in Illinois, and then we're with all of them. We're with RNDC, Southern Empire. I mean, across the United States, Breakthrough is not everywhere. So we've established ourselves across the country, coast to coast, from LA to New York now, and it's been a heck of a ride for sure.
Yeah, we're meant to meet. Uh, During the '90s, when I was traded to Chicago, me and Jim Bob had so many common friends, and we never ran into each other in the '90s. But and then fast forward to, 2020. But again, so many friends, so many common interests, that we had, and it's been a great relationship. The places we've been, the people we're meeting, as you mentioned, Breakthrough Beverage. That's how we got our foot in the door and got this thing going. And it's been incredible. And once you taste it, and I've got kids, Jim Bob, we've got kids about the same age. Mine are a little older, but they absolutely love it. So we're good with the younger generation, older, and like I said, you got to taste it, and the proof's in the pudding there.
I love that. And yeah, you guys are confident in what you have because you have a great product and you went into a, saturated space. And there's a lot of conversation around celebrity owned brands. And I know that you guys try to not market it as a celebrity owned product. And I think that's very unique also because a lot of people would lean into that. And majority of the celebrity brands have a bad taste in people's mouths because majority of them don't go to the distilleries and do blind taste tests, and most of them don't know what goes in their bottle. They just slap their name on the product. So the authenticity, I think, is the most important part of your story. And yes, having the relationship with the Wirtz family is great. I know that Breakthrough is a big hockey community, and they do that. I think they get to play with the Blackhawks every year or something, and that's fun.
Yeah.
But I was touching on the biker community and all of the other activations you guys have done because it was very smart strategically. Most of these partnerships are usually with like a beer or maybe nowadays RTDs and that sort of thing. And you guys were ahead of the trends doing that with partnering with artists and I guess that category because you guys have a boat too, and what is that realm? Is that just like motorsports, I guess?
Well, we started with Jelly Roll. We sponsored Jelly Roll in the baptism tour, and the kids introduced me to Jelly Roll, and we had a small launch at Tailgates and Tall Boys, and we started doing music festivals, and so a lot of it was about the spirit of the brand. I mean, and the lifestyle. Chris and I both, you know, we work hard, but we play pretty damn hard. I will tell you that. We have a lot of fun, and we wanted, the spirit and the lifestyle that we were creating. I mean, it's mischievous fun. We're certainly adventurous. We're not just a little bit adventurous, but and I'm not saying we lived on the edge or anything, but we're out there having a good time. And so we started the music. Then we moved from, Jelly Roll, and we did a bunch of music venues and concerts. And in fact, some of our best sales go through some of the great music ventures. Our friends at Allstate Arena, for example, in the Chicago area are fantastic for us. They're one of our absolute best because they have so many great acts come through there. But then we moved to motorsports, NASCAR. We have had our own NHRA racing team. We moved to boat racing, and we like the motorsports. Just people being outside and active, and then
Mhm.
obviously the sports arenas. Every time the Blackhawks score, it's break out the Bandido, and so that's fun. And we can just continue to build partnerships, with the different entities, Kansas City Chiefs, Green Bay Packers, every place that Chris and I go, we try to build those relationships with those venues. And this year we put a lot of emphasis on folks like you, though, Joey, and the team, in the fact that we think the best results are for us with using our team and getting the liquid to lips. You mentioned El Bandido and why it's a good product. Well, it's won everything. We've won
Mhm.
platinum, we've won gold. Every single one of them has won something. And our Plata 47, our new high proof tequila, is probably considered one of the world's best high proof tequilas. I mean, and the Nielsen ratings that we have puts us in the top 30 in the United States in regards to brand and brand trajectory. And so it's been a it's been a good ride, and I think we've done things you know, not always smartly. I can tell you, we certainly we've spent money when it didn't produce things, but we're always looking for that next hidden gem that brings the awareness to the brand.
Definitely. Liquid to lips is for sure what we've been focusing on, and that's what my bread and butter is. And we've also, for my listeners out there, we are doing a nice combo at Total Wine that if you buy 2 bottles, you save $20. So you might as well go shopping soon and get yourself ready for your next celebration. And we have a lot of other fun things on the horizon. We have a lot of different submissions in for some bigger name chains, and we have some partnerships with other ones near Chris, like Binny's. And there's a lot to be looking forward to. And you guys are on a huge trajectory with your sales. And it's not so common that you have multiple SKUs performing well. And you guys do have. You have the Plata, you have an Añejo, and then the Reposado and Blanco. I know the story, but for the listeners who don't know, when you guys were bottling, did you start just with Blanco for the first year? Did you come out with both items, the Repo and the Blanco? How did you go through the gradual steps of the next SKUs?
Yeah, well, I'll take that one for us. I want to go back for a second. You brought up that celebrity deal and the brand too, and I'll answer this question in a second. But I will tell you, when I first met Chris, he's an absolute star in the hockey community. And of all the people that I've met some iconic people. I mean, Chris knows just a ton of celebrities, and we've been around him. I mean, he's about the most non-celebrity celebrity that you're ever fine. I mean, he's down to earth, and I think that's one of the reasons I was kind of attracted to the fact that, hey man, this guy's just like he's pretty much like me, and I go that was a compliment in the fact that I just he was such an easy. I mean, he was such an iconic player and a Hall of Fame player, and I was really drawn to the fact that. We didn't really want to get into that celebrity element, even though I consider Chris one of the best celebrities you're ever going to meet. Him and Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks might be the nicest big time celebrity I've ever
Aw.
met in my life. And Cindy Crawford too. Chris's good friend Cindy Crawford. She's about as nice a person as you're going to find. But when we started this deal, Chris and I both we started with Blanco, and then you have to have the Blanco because you've got to you start with the Blanco because you've got to barrel to get to the Reposado. So we had about a year and a half launch of Blanco, and when we immediately put the Blanco in barrels to get the Reposado, and then we aged our Reposado, you know, about 3.5 months.
Hmm.
And we charred the barrels to a char level 2 because we didn't want too much smoke in it. And we experimented with the different char levels all the way up to 5. And then we would bring it down for the reposado. And so we ended up on a char level 2 on the barrels, and we stripped the barrels and then recharred them. And we got one of the best, I think, one of the best natural tasting reposados because you can pick up the caramel, you can pick up the cinnamon. It's just it's a great natural um, reposado. And then after we had done that for a couple of years, we had the anejo in barrels for a year.
Hmm.
And so you kind of progress into it. You got the Blanco, then you take some away and put into barrels, and then you go to the Reposado, and then you've got some more in barrels with the Anejo. We've got some stuff aging right now for Super Anejo that we'll bring out. The Super Anejo will probably come out in 27. And then, we went from that, and we had the three uh, expressions out there, the Blanco, Reposado, Anejo, and we decided that we wanted to do a high proof, and then we're working on a steel proof right now, which that'll be 110 proof. The Plata 47 is 94 proof, and the next steel sample that we do, we'll call it El Bandido Steel. It will be right off of the copper steel there, and it'll go straight into bottling, and it is fantastic. I can tell you, I had it a couple months ago. It is amazing. I think the Super Anejo is going to be off the charts as well.
Amazing. Well, we'll look forward to that. For my listeners out there that aren't following El Bandido Yankee Tequila, please make sure to do so on Instagram. And you can also check out their website. They have a lot of fun swag on there. They have all the SKUs and all the information and all of our awards, and everything is on the website. So please make sure to follow. I also want to bring up that we have a giveaway going on for this Key West vacation. Let's talk about that. And you guys have a music festival. Is that the music festival one?
Jim
I'll
Bob.
have to defer to Chris and Grace on that.
Yeah. No, I haven't been. No, it's not on my schedule yet, but I'm sure I'll get it once hockey's over. That's when I'm all in, and I can focus on the tequila and our tour, I guess you'd call it. So, but West Palm's big for us. The Keys huge. Like Jim Bob said, Florida's a great market for us.
Totally. And we're gonna do a lot of in-store activations when you're free too, right, Chris? For all your fans out there that know you're a big celebrity, even though you're very humble.
Well, that's what Jim Bob's daughter Allie's telling me. Yes. So we just went over that, and I haven't had a chance to look at everything, but yeah, it's a full schedule for sure. But it's fun. Some great trips, meet a lot of people, and like I said, once they taste the tequila, I'm not just saying this, like they're really happy with it and hooked on it. They really enjoy drinking our tequila.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris and I have two daughters that are about the same mentality. You don't mess with them, Joey. You've met Allie.
Yeah, I did.
And Chris is talking the same way, man. They push us around. I mean, it's almost like abuse.
How
I'm
old
not
are
gonna.
they? Are they
Yeah,
my age?
I'm not gonna admit that, Joey.
Oh,
Not.
okay, that's fine. But are they like in their 30s or 40s or
Allie's gonna be 30.
yeah.
Yeah, mine's 30 also. I have a couple daughters, but yeah.
Nice. Well, that's lovely. I love that you guys get to work with your families. I work with my dad. He's 89, and I have two brothers in the business too, but I am, the head lady in charge. So I understand and I recognize the relationship, and it's also
Yeah.
really fun. I think
Yeah.
there's beauty in working with your family.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun sometimes. It's gonna be challenging, and Allie's a big pusher too. I mean, she's done a good job with the brand. Is that it's a big year. I mean, we're going to hit some benchmarks this year, so I'm excited, and the work that you're doing too, Joey. I mean, the activations and obviously the Total Wine. You mentioned Specs and
Mhm.
earlier when I was down in Houston, but Benny's, those are all just those are so critical to us and our success, and we have a lot of success when we're in there doing tastings and introducing to the product, like Chris says, once you try El Bandido Yankee Tequila, you realize how good the tequila really is, and that's where we need to focus for our next generation of great tequila fans.
Absolutely. And like I said, we have to educate because a lot of people it's daunting going into liquor stores without being approached to say, "Hey, do you want to try this new product?" It's daunting to just walk down the tequila aisle and be like, "I don't know what to buy," whether it's for yourself or whether it's for a gift. And unless we have those shelf talkers like we do that have, if you scan this, you get $5 off if you buy a bottle, or if we have a partnership like we do with Total Wine saying if you buy two, you get a significant amount off. People aren't going to gravitate towards it because they're so used to hearing, all the brands that are fully advertising or have been here much longer, right?
Well, I mean,
So,
they're spending $1 billion. I mean, you got the big guys that, we're independent. I mean, this is, we don't have the $1 billion marketing spend, but I'll tell you what's going to help us in a lot too is that the 50s are coming out this quarter, Joey, and
mhm.
so the little bitty 50s, they're gonna really help with the marketing push too. Um, I know when we were in Sturgis, we actually bottled some ourselves for the 50s for the Sturgis deal, and man, they disappeared in about 10 minutes. They were just gone.
Hilarious. Yeah, of course, because some people are, they're interested, but maybe they didn't want to commit to a full bottle yet. So that is very helpful for a marketing play, especially when we're doing the samplings. Maybe they don't want to buy the large 750 and now they'll have the opportunity to buy the 50 ml, try it, come back and buy the large one. So that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. Make no mistake either. Like it's a premium tequila, and it at a great price. It really is. If you
Yeah.
know, and it does make a difference. But you're not going to get a better quality tequila at the price that we're giving out right now. It's very fair, and it's a great product.
Absolutely. So, guys, I know that you are both in different areas of the world right now, and I appreciate you being on this call with me. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to bring up anything maybe you didn't get to, but I always love to play games. So, if you guys are down, I'm going to ask you a few little games, a few questions that are fun and playful games if you're down to do so.
Yeah, go ahead. Knock
Okay.
it off.
Little nervous, but go ahead.
Listen, nothing's live, so we're going to edit it if you don't like it.
Okay.
So I was thinking of this morning because I do love sports, and we live in Florida, so obviously everybody's Panthers, and I know you're connected a little bit there, Chris. And then
Yeah.
I miss football. My mom loves football, and she was from Minnesota, so we were Vikings fans. Sorry, Jim. But I was thinking maybe it'd be fun to do maybe like if you guys had to do a tequila tasting again with maybe the steel, we'll talk about the steel. Who would you invite to be at the table with you? And the categories are obviously someone from a football team, someone from an NHL team. Then you could talk about an artist, since you guys touched on that earlier. How about also maybe someone dead or alive? That might be someone fun to have at the tequila tasting. What would be your answers?
Well, I'll go first, because I got a Rolodex that never ends.
Okay.
So, yeah, as far as musicians, my best friend, one of my best friends, I got a few, but Eddie Vedder, Chicago native, he has dabbled in the Bandido and loves it.
Nice.
Um, so he'd be the one guy for sure. A lot of fun to drink with too. That's key. And then, you know, dead person, it would have been, who knows, if you're gonna go if you're gonna be a bear, be a grizzly. Jim Morrison, that would
Love
have been
it.
cool.
Love
Uh,
it.
it's too bad it didn't last very long. Who else would I throw in
You
this?
need a hockey player, not you.
Well, right now I got to go with my guy who just got the gold, and I drank with his dad for years. But Matthew Kachuk,
Yep.
and you might as well throw in Brady too. Those two guys, not only do they have character, but they are characters. And I've sent Matthew a case or two already. He's promoted it. So this kid right now, he's got to be one of America's favorite kids. But I've known him since he was 5 years old. He's an amazing kid, respectful, and obviously for them and the women, what they accomplished this year was incredible.
Unbelievable.
Best thing I've ever experienced probably in my hockey career, quite honestly.
Wow, that's a big statement. I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. And you can pick a football player and then we'll let Jim answer.
You know what? Jim's gonna like this one because it's probably one of his favorites. Is Team Kelsey. Uh,
Ah,
they're Blackhawk fans, both brothers. I think they're from the Midwest, somewhere Cincinnati or Cleveland, somewhere. But
Cleveland. Yep.
yeah, and I've had the opportunity to meet Travis in Vegas for a weekend. We spent some time with him, and he's my kind of guy. Just a big dumb animal, but not dumb, but fun. So yeah,
Love it.
he's just you see what you see is what you get with the Kelseys, and I like I love them. They're great guys.
Amazing. Great answers. Jim,
Yeah.
your turn.
Well, on the Kelsey deal, we sent a couple of cases to Mahomes' bachelor party before he got married, and
Wow.
so uh, Travis was familiar with El Bandido, so that's awesome to hear that. But I'll tell you what, as famous as Eli and Peyton Manning are today, we couldn't go wrong by getting those two guys as mouthpieces for us. So they would be great to have. Musicians, and I love Eddie and Chris has got like I said, a whole Rolodex. I love Kid Rock. But if I was gonna, the musician who I'd like to bring back to go party with in Vegas and be out there promoting El Bandito would be Elvis.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Of
Yeah.
I would
course.
love
The
him.
king.
And on the hockey side, man, is that but the guy I first met for the first Blackhawk that I really knew was Bobby Probert, Chris's former teammate, and he was the nicest guy in public and could drink, and he would be such a great customer of ours. I would bring Bobby back if I could. If El Bandito had any healing powers, I would make sure that we got it to Bobby Probert, and Chris would definitely agree with that.
Love it.
I would have said Kid Rock, but he said when it comes to tequila, he's drank it 3-4 times and he's ended up in jail every time, so he's out. So
Oh,
yeah,
shoot. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely backpedal from him.
yeah, I love him, but
So
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
So we know that majority of the people who are drinking tequila is female. What do you guys feel is your best cocktail with El Bandito, and which expression for the ladies out there that are listening?
Well, for Chicago, I could just comment on Chicago would be the Palomas.
Okay.
Uh, that seems to be the favorite amongst the women. Uh, you know, that's what we push in some of the finer restaurants and bars. So yeah, that seems to be the favorite for the females.
Love it.
Yeah. And then the high proof, we've got three expressions that go into margaritas exceptionally well. The Blanco Margarito, um, when you use the Blanco, it's different than when you use the Reposado. And then
Mhm.
if you use the high proof, it's different. And you can taste it. I mean, we did it the other night where I did a samples for everybody to prove it. I go, well, here's the Blanco. And the way we do them all natural with just, our tequila, natural lime juice, and agave syrup. And it's the easiest recipe in the world, and that's how you keep and make the best margaritas by keeping it extremely simple. But like Chris said, the Palomas go really well. I'll tell you what, also too, a lot of people now are taking the anejo and using it as a replacement for bourbon or whiskey. And
Mhm.
so an old fashioned with anejo is really special, and it's extremely good. But you know, 80% of our audience and our buyers is women for tequila, and I think between the Palermo and the margaritas, that covers about 90% of what they're drinking.
Yeah, there's no question the margarita is a favorite, but I just yeah.
Yeah, but palomas are great too. And for my listeners out there that aren't sure what a paloma is, go look online and try it one for yourself. Some people like it with fresh grapefruit juice. Some people like to make it a little easier with a Fever Tree grapefruit soda. But go for it. Try it. Try it with our Reposado or try it with our Silver Blanco tequila. Anything that you want to try it with, send us pictures, tag us, Instagram, DM us, tag Sippin and Selling, and I'd love to see your photos. I had one more question for Chris because Jim brought it up. So Cindy Crawford's your friend. Her husband's in the business. Has she tried and has he tried El Bandito?
Absolutely, they've had it, and it actually started, with their whole Casamigos venture, that I was helping them out in the Chicago market, trying to get them accounts here, and I was drinking it, but I wasn't enjoying drinking theirs
Right.
because of the additives. And but we've had such a great relationship. We've been friends 20 years, 20 plus years, and learned a lot from Randy. Obviously, he was the brains of that whole. I know Clooney and Mike Meldman were part of that too. They're partners, but Randy, he did all the legwork, the artwork, and he really has a gift. And doesn't hurt when you got Cindy and George Clooney promoting it either. So, but it was it was a great learning experience for me in the world of tequila. And like I said, we don't judge each other's. We enjoy each other's tequilas, but mine's way better. Ours is way better, Jim. I'm sorry, ours is much better.
Yeah. Hey, also too, Joey, make sure you tell everybody to go to elbandidoyankee.com because we've got about 200 recipes on there that are already designed for everybody. And I'll tell you what we do during the holidays is that we'll pick about 10 of them and we'll spend time in the kitchen. Everybody's got to go. We make a game out of it. Okay, we'll pick one of the out of a hat. Here's the recipe. You got to go fix it, and we have everything in there. Um, and so we play the game on our website on all those recipes out there. It's a great place to send people to when they want to look for some fun drinks.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing. And yes, for sure, go check out elbandidoyankee.com. Guys, is there anything else that we left off the table that we forgot to talk about the brands?
Well, we could bring up, our relationship was sacred. When we went down to Mexico and we were looking for what we wanted to kind of give back to the people that were producing for us, and we looked at buying farm ground down there to protect ourselves. The agave that we use takes 7 years to get to production stage, and we don't use any inferior agave. We use strictly Blue Weber agave, and we wait until it's fully mature at 7 years. We don't do any cutting shortcuts by using 3 or 4 year agave. But our relationship at Sacred and what we do there in regards to sustainability, of agave and the education of it and the continuance and making it relevant and the development of agave, industry. That's an important deal for us on giving back. And as Chris also mentioned, our brand, we give a lot back between Chris's charities and the charities that we do. I mean, we really, we provide millions of dollars in various charitable organizations and continuing education. So I'm proud of what the brand does in regards to the give back side as well.
Yes, very important. Thank you for bringing that up. And Chris, anything to leave with the audience?
Like I said, it's been great, and like I said, I'm doing this because I believe in the product and the people that we've been surrounded by, not just because of the tequila, but throughout our lives, and it's just been a great run. And like I said, you got to try it, and we hadn't had anybody once, and of course it's to each his own. There's taste and what you like, but as far as quality, there's no one better quality than ours, and I wouldn't back it, and Jim Bob wouldn't back it if it wasn't. So
100%.
that's the bottom line.
Absolutely. Cheers to that. I love
Cheers.
that answer. Cheers.
Cheers, you guys. I wish I had a cheers.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
you're gonna need one. Chris has been in the hospital for a week with his mother, Joey, and he needs some tequila in there. I mean, maybe that's what we need to bring Mom, Chris.
Oh, it's coming. Trust me. But I think it should be, now that we're almost wrapped up here, it should be about 10 minutes away.
It's on ice. It's on the way.
It's almost 12 here, so yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining Sippin and Selling. Chris Chelios and Jim Bob Morris from El Bandido Yankee. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you guys' conversation, and thank you for sharing the beautiful story and the message about El Bandido Yankee with my listeners.
Thanks, Joey.
Thank you, Joey. Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Chris, I'll call you. See you, buddy.
Okay.